What is up? It is Paris Tempy, Paris TTMPPED, TTMPPED. Somebody commented that they always say the beginning with me. Y'all should start saying it. TTMPPED, TTMPPED, TTMPPED. TTM. Okay. I do have a video coming of me reading your comments. I hope I get all of your consent to read your comments. Maybe, do y'all want me to like blur out your names? Like, how do people be doing that? But I do want to read them to you and so y'all can see like my live reactions and like, because I feel like me typing the paragraph or something that I would say in response is just not as authentic as me just doing a video. As you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be about how I found myself after coming out as a trans man. So, you know, when I first like was realizing, okay, like something isn't right and it hasn't been right ever, and if I keep going down this path of expectation, I'm never going to find myself. Like, I knew that there was another step I had to go through, because I'm not trying to say like all women have to grow up, but I feel like the way that my mom raised me, like she was raising me to be like ultra independent very young. Like, I was washing my clothes at 5. I was expected to cook my own food at 12. Like, I feel like I was getting like the awakening of, you know, like the female world, you know, the woman's world, you know what I'm saying? Which is fine. I still do all those things. I still cook and say I still wash my own stuff. Like, I forgot those things, you know, helped for me to be who I am today. But I feel like understanding the roles I would have to play, the rules of the way I would have to act in society and how society would have to view me, I was understanding, okay, I want to start giving into things that I actually like, things that I find cool. We would go to the store, my brother can go pick what he wanted, and I was forced, whenever I would pick something, oh no, not that. Okay, you can have that. No, that's not that. I'm like, what the fuck can I wear? You know what I'm saying? So I started to like give into expectation, because that's what, you know, I was taught I had to do. And it really put me in this ball. So when I finally, like, you know, was starting to present the way I wanted, which is how I dress, you know, not right now. Right now I'm slacking. Y'all haven't seen the fits yet. But like when I, you know, now that I'm able to dress how I want to dress and do what I want to do, the first person I came out to was my dad. So I told my dad, okay, like, I think I'm bisexual. And he was like, no, you're not. I'm like, oh my god. But like, he was like, okay, if you are, it's whatever, you know, saying. So then I started, you know, dating girls and stuff like that, and he was starting to get the memo. So I was introduced to being myself as, like, you know, walking on my toes. And as I evolved in transitioning, you know, because I was getting shape up since middle school. I was always interested in getting shape ups and stuff like that. But like, when I finally was, you know, able to dress how I wanted to dress, I feel like I lost a part of myself. Yeah, I lost a part of who I was, because a lot of me was becoming fearful. It was easy to blend in, but it was scary to just give in to the fact that you might stand out a little bit, you know? So I was lost. And the more I was starting to pass and be freed into freedom, I didn't understand that, you know? So I was immediately lost as hell, because I'd never been free. I never was able to just do what I wanted to do. So, and wear what I want to wear and not have to worry about, you know, because, you know, when I was younger, I was getting bullied for me being who I wanted to be. Me looking like a boy was a bad thing, you know? So, you know, it was very interesting, you know? So when I went out into the world and realized, oh, I can be who I wanted to be, I was lost as hell. And trying to learn, what do I do? Who do I be now? Now that no one's looking at me, who do I be now? So I was, you know, picking the most stereotypical shit out of a man. I'm like, okay, I gotta be this way. I gotta be competitive. I gotta make sure I look like this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And it was becoming another block, but this time, this is what I chose. So I thought I was free. You know, but in reality, I guess put myself in another prison, but this time I was just comfortable there. This time I met some people that made me feel good while I was there. This time, oh god, no pun intended. Yeah, so like, I feel like I gave into where I was, and I didn't grow. You know, I stopped growing for a while. Even though I was growing on the outside, my inside was the same. So no matter what the universe was giving me that was like aligning with who I was in the outside, I was too busy comfortable in being uncomfortable. And it was crazy because everything was coming to me, like everything I wanted was coming to me. I think it was because I was just completely content with who I was. You know, I was getting everything I wanted, but completely the wrong way. And even now I'm relearning how to get everything I want, but as a changed person, as someone that is continuously evolving. And it's the same process where you just surrender to the fact that you are who you are, but you have to always be open to changing and listening to your inner voice, listening to your intuition, listening to that third eye, whatever you would believe in, like listening to God, like being open to listening to what's beyond you so that you can continue to move forward. Because I feel like transitioning was always on my mind. The kind of man I had to be was always on my mind. So I feel like it was really hard for me to be like change. It was hard for me to grow. Because, you know, if you were hitting regular puberty, you grow with that change. You are still going through social interaction where you're growing. But when you're always in your mind thinking about what, you're basically stunting your growth. And a lot of people do that. Like, I feel like that's a part of life. I've realized it wasn't even a part of my transition, but my transition was what I chose to focus on. Some people choose just other stuff, you know. Like, some people want to choose the ex that broke up with them, or school that stressed them out, or something's going to be on their mind. I gotta always do this, I gotta always do that. Whatever they want to focus on, that's going to be what is going to be their thing. It was very interesting to see, like, kind of see who I was. Because now I'm able to not see who I don't want to be. And, you know, that's kind of how I found myself. Really allowing myself to fall into the stereotype. So I can realize that I have to break out of that box and just become who I am. And I am who I am. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, some people don't understand my transition because they see me with parts of who I took from who I was. But that I've always been me. It's just I've evolved. And because I was listening to that, it was hard for me to evolve on my own because I didn't know if one way of my evolution was going to be making me seem like I wasn't taking my masculinity seriously. Trying to prove that I'm trans once again. But the proving is no longer needed. I'm passing out in this world, and anybody who misunderstands who I am is not supposed to. They're not supposed to understand. And it's really been a journey to understand that. It sounds so simple, but when you're like living in your day to day, it's easy to do it when you're alone. But when you're living in your day to day and you're having sometimes a very large population of people tell you one thing, or, you know, you're hearing these repeats, or life is reflecting a lot of negative or positive things depending on who you're embodying, that right there will have you stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, I was stuck. And I found myself from unbuckling and allowing everyone to be who they are as long as I can be myself. And if I can't be myself, I express that and I leave and go somewhere where I can. Because being self is all that transitioning should be about. Sometimes we get lost because of like all the YouTubers and everyone on Instagram and like TikTok. We get lost in thinking that we have to prove ourselves, like dress the part, but you're forgetting the person you are is just the kid of you that used to wear boy clothes and think about this. You're just remaining that. You're the one that wore your mom's heels, you know, and now, you know, I'm going trans women, you know, trans men, even LGBT plus. Like, you're just being your younger self, but older. You're not trying to prove it to anybody. The person I was as a kid and now, like, you know, even some parts of high school, some parts of college, you know, I was me. Like, I was, even in the parts where I was learning, I was still me, just learning. Like, I was me. Always me. You're always yourself. So, like, some people get lost, in the transition when they start to be someone outside of themselves. Prove themselves too much, or overdo things to start to fit the stereotype. Because if you were alone with no blueprint of what was, who would you be then? And this is who I am with no blueprint. Like, I'm just becoming who I am. You can have an ideal, but don't even get lost in that, because then you're getting lost in someone outside of yourself. You can have the idea, but don't get lost in the person, because sometimes you'll end up looking like them but not even seeing it. Like, you'll end up embodying everything that you wanted and not even being aware of the person you are. It took me years to recognize that I changed. Like, I had this one person tell me I look completely different than I used to, and I'm like, I don't see it, because I don't, still to this day. But I accepted that I've evolved, that things have changed. So, like, now I'm seeing it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I feel like it's because I'm me. I'm the same person every day. So it's just, it's hard to see those things sometimes. And it's been a beautiful process. I feel like finding myself took releasing. A lot of it was also fear from the past. I feel like a lot of, things I was holding on to was because I was afraid. But I had to remember, transitioning, like, I have to remain in this with the same excitement that I started. Not even just in life. Remain in the excitement of life. Don't allow the fear of failing to get to your head, because I feel like, that will, like, make everything the fun will just get sucked out of that, It will just, you don't go to things with fear. You have to always be open-minded. And even if the craziest thing happens, I always say treat it like a movie scene. Like, try to just think optimistically and try to be your strongest self, and then look back and realize, give yourself a pat on the back for being that strong in those moments. I had to learn that I was in control of the things that mattered, Me evolving mattered. I wanted to be in shape and look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good as hell. I wanted to have that love for myself. I wanted to look and know that I did this. That's what I wanted. So that's who I am. And that's what I can control day by day, piece by piece, continuing to just take care of myself, And also realize I can do what I want. I dated who I wanted to date. I did what I wanted to do. I was friends with who I wanted to be friends with. I didn't owe anybody an explanation. I didn't tell all my family everything. I did what the hell I wanted to do, because I'm in control of my reality. And you are too. Don't forget. And coming out opened the door for me. I feel like the more that I kind of just fell into who I am, I feel like doors have opened. Before, I was very private about being trans, and it became a secret. But now I'm very open about it, because it's something that I want to not be known as by everybody, but to be respected as. I want to be understood. A lot of people overdefine their freedom. I feel like, now that you're in this space and you've accepted, you got to realize you're just in a new reality. Don't put too much barriers on it, because it's overlapped who you've always been. It's just now you're able to just literally take off a version of yourself, and underneath will be another layer, like an onion. I wrote that I found myself through freedom of expression. I dress how I want to dress. I do what I want to do. So I'm like molding together this being who is just pieces of what I adore, regularly and within myself. I feel like I'm literally just a making of my mind and genetics and irony. Yeah, it's really all about just acceptance. You have to accept who you are, and that's how you'll find who you are. If you accept beyond everything outside of you, you will become. It's just like what it is. You have to just want to keep going, You have to want to keep moving up. in this process. You want to keep reminding yourself that you are beautiful and that you are who you've always been. You know, sometimes don't allow anything to put you in anything. Just be who you are. Sometimes a lot of people detransition because there's probably an aspect of that they want within themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if we accepted that more and accepted like the want of an aspect or an energy, it's just like life would be a lot different. And if we all realize we're all multi-beings, but that's a different conversation that I don't know if this channel is ready for. Understanding that we are more than anything. We are all, very multi-dimensional, multi-energy. Singing is a female energy to me. Like when I sing, I have to relax. I have to be more vulnerable to have emotion in my voice. Whereas when I rap, I have to get in touch with literally like a literal different side of myself, where I literally have to be more structured with my mouth and make sure that I don't slip and that I speak with more intent and more emotion as well. And it's still the same room in terms of like that, what's that word? The flow state. I'm still in the flow state regardless, but that flow state is more of like a masculine flow state. Whereas my outfits are a mix. I feel like sometimes I'll wear clothes that are more masculine, but my hair, for example, right now, the ponytail, is more of it's not feminine, but I guess it's interesting because we've accepted that it can be both in this society. But it just depends on your perspective. You are who you are, and if you want to go from one spectrum to the next spectrum, you can do that, but you have to be willing to accept who you are and where you'll be in that experience. You have to just go with what you like. Literally wear what you want to wear. My style is completely different. There are things that I remember wearing and thinking I looked amazing, and now I look back like, what the fuck? I literally looked crazy. I couldn't see myself. I literally was not able to see what, because I'm not supposed to. I'm a different person, but I was on a different frequency. Literally in a different thought of mind. I was young. Younger me and me now are two different people. Even though in that time, everything made sense, I was me right now, I've evolved. So now I have more to combine with those thoughts that have molded into new thoughts. So my interests have grown. My wants have changed. They've matured. And I will continue to change. And with that acceptance, I will continue to transition. My experience will continue to grow in this direction. I will continue to be a part of a community that I love because of the things that I want and desire that have molded into who I am and because of who I've been. And if you understand this, comment down below, I resonate. Or no, well, yeah, put that in the comments. Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting into like a deep conversation, but people don't realize how not spiritual. Okay, I'm gonna watch my words. I don't know how the comment section, but it just depends on how your mind is. If you allow your mind to just find itself, your transition will be beautiful. That's why trans women are a very strong energy. And we are literally able to walk in our freedom because of them. Because them having their ballroom scene and being able to get in touch with their energy, and it's literally like a mixed energy, a confidence, but yet feminine. It's very mixed. And if you don't understand, and it's one of those things where you have to allow yourself to be free. Whatever that means for you. Whatever your interests were and now are, it doesn't have to change. You can, do whatever the fuck you want to do in your experience. And that's how you'll find yourself. And I helped, somebody, at least, one person understand it's all about the process.